Hello and welcome to another episode of Talking All Sports. As per usual, I'm your host, Zach. And in this week's episode, it's a little bit shorter. We've got less sport to talk about. We've got some major things to talk about in the AFL world and especially in the cricket world as the Ashes has kicked off and is absolutely flying. So without further ado, let's get stuck into it. So the only thing we're going to be talking about in the week in review is the Ashes first test series in Edgbaston, Birmingham in England that has just gone on. And wow, what a first test match. It was fantastic viewing for all those Australians, I guess, staying up to the early hours of Wednesday morning to see Australia triumph in one of the greatest Ashes test matches in history. Bazball had the Aussies under the pump for majority of that test, especially after day one being sent in to bat at the back end of the day, chasing 390. The bowling was better than I expected personally from England, which put the Aussies under the pump. But pure class from the likes of Patrick Cummins throughout the series with his bowling. Some important wickets he was taking at crucial times, and as well his batting at the end that got the Aussies over the line, a captain's performance. And alongside him when the Aussies won was Nathan Lyon, who cannot be forgotten for how well he bowled on a deck that started off as a road, but then with the rain coming and as it wore and tore, spin got more involved in the game, and Nathan Lyon took full advantage of that, being probably Australia's most damaging bowler for the whole series. Usman Khawaja, phenomenal, getting a century in the first innings and then a half century in that famous chase for the Aussies. A special mention to Scott Boland as well in that chase, being the night watchman after day 4 going into day 5, and then holding his own, batting actually quite well until a little silly shot got him out at the beginning of day 5. He was brilliant as well, Scott Boland. Fantastic effort from him. Broad on the English side of things, Broad was excellent with his bowling throughout the series. I mean, for me, as a spectator, I got nervous every time Stuart Broad went into bowl. I thought there's a very good chance a wicket could happen. Ollie Robinson was great. Jimmy Anderson for his age as well. Moeen Ali, for the injury he got, he still performed quite well. Joe Root was terrific with the bat as well, and then getting a wicket on the final day, trying to lead his side over the top. I just want to know, let me know in the comments, who do you think is going to win the next test? I mean, that was Australia's first go at trying to defend Bazball or play against it, and the English, that was their first go at using Bazball against the best test team in the world currently. So let me know who you think is going to win in the second test. I think this Ashes is going to be very, very close as to who wins it. It's already high in the intensity with the Ollie Robinson sledge on Usman Khawaja when he got him out for 140 runs. So it's awesome. I don't think you can take your eyes off it. Let me know in the comments, though, who you think is going to win the next one and who's going to win overall this Ashes, and will either Australia retain the urn or will England take it back? So that's really it for the week in review. We'll get stuck into some AFL talk now. Round 14. Sicily on Monday was given 3 weeks. He wasn't able to overturn that appeal. Same for Ryan Mansell last week. Both players are suspended for 3 weeks. Congratulations as well to Trent Cotchin on Saturday night, who played his 300th game and was fantastic in that match. Brilliant to see from him. One of Richmond's most underrated players, I think, of all time. He's a premiership captain 3 times. He's also a joint Brownlow medalist. He's won the BNF numerous times. A fantastic player, fantastic club man for the Tigers as well, Trent Cotchin. Congratulations to him. We'll get stuck into the most impressed, though. We'll just, let's not waste any time and get stuck into the Giants. I think that was one of the more impressive performances, I think, for the whole year from GWS. I did not see them beating Fremantle, although, you know, if they were only beaten by 3 or 4 goals, I would be surprised but impressed. I didn't think 70 points was capable from the GWS Giants against Fremantle. Fantastic performance. That tsunami, our orange tsunami, is looking so, it's looking much stronger every week as they play. Adam Kingsley's got them playing a fantastic game style. And the Giants, although that they're just outside the 8 on wins, they're pretty close with the rest of the pack, although they do have the bye this week, so they will fall a little bit lower down the ladder, barring those teams around them win. I still think they're a young and developing side. I think with the Giants, they've almost overperformed a bit 14 weeks in. I'm still waiting for that little dip. I've said it for numerous weeks now. I'm waiting for the Giants to dip just because of how young they are. But every week they get stronger and stronger. So, I mean, sky's the limit for this team. I think when teams start to figure them out, though, things could go a bit haywire. But, I mean, they've got great players like Lockie Whitfield, Josh Kelly, Toby Green, Stephen Cornelio, Tom Green. They're all stepping up. Harry Himmelberg as well, all playing very, very good football at the moment for the Giants. And that's probably a big reason as to why they're playing so well and in great form. So, well done to the Giants. Great 70-point win on the weekend and definitely deserve to be in the most impressed. Next team that goes into the most impressed has to be the Carlton Blues. And I think, for me personally, I wanted Carlton to be in here. Especially for their fans. Their fans have gone through enough for the last 6 to 7 weeks, and finally they get in a good performance this week against the Suns at the G on Sunday. I said this would be the last time I tipped Carlton to win a game this year if they weren't able to knock off Gold Coast, and they did exactly what I expected, but not to win by 60 points. So they got a great win on the weekend. Their leaders really stood up. Patrick Cripps was fantastic, 30-3. I think he had Sam Doherty was great off half back. Charlie Curnow and Harry Mackay just had to do their thing, although they started sloppy. They worked their way into the game. A lot of great contributors from Carlton throughout the day, including Cherrett as well. It was also great to see David Cunningham come back and play his first game in over 2 years as well. So a lot of great moments for the Blues. A great day for Carlton fans on Sunday as well, as they finally got another win on the board and deserve to be in the most impressed this week. And the third team that goes into the most impressed, I'm going to have to put Port Adelaide. I know that they're on an 11-game win streak. They should be in here weeks prior, but why would you put them in on a game that I think a lot of people expected to beat Geelong? I think they were challenged early, Port Adelaide. Geelong really jumped out of the blocks and really put a number on them, made really Port Adelaide earn this win on Thursday night. And I was really impressed because in recent years, Port Adelaide would have given up. I think Geelong had figured them out and probably wouldn't have fought back. The way they're able to fought back, and some of their younger players especially, Horn Francis, Zach Butters, Connor Rosie, through the middle, really stood up and tried to lead this charge of getting back into the game. Thought Sam Powell-Pepper was probably almost best on, in my opinion. He was absolutely fantastic. Probably a barometer in trying to get Port Adelaide back into the game. They were doing so many good things on so many levels, Port Adelaide, that got themselves that win on Thursday night. So they have to go in the most impressed for me, purely because of their fight back. And I was really impressed with how they went to an even another level to get over the top of the Cats. And it probably strengthens, in my opinion, their chances of winning the premiership this year, and probably almost cements them as a team that is most likely going to get there to the pointy end of the season. They were fantastic on Thursday night, Port, and deserve to be in the most impressed this week. Now we're going to get stuck into the teams who disappointed me the most, and we will start off with Freo for their loss against the Giants. Bad loss against Richmond. I mean, they started slow against the Tigers, worked their way back, and then lost it. I thought we'd get a response on the road, traveling on a 7-day break against the Giants, a team which I think is, really falling into the bye and probably should be losing a game soon. To lose by 70 points to them, and they didn't really look that competitive, Freo. They were being outworked all across the ground. Their transition defense was non-existent. I mean, GWS were moving the ball very quickly, but very easily the whole way. So many outnumbered players inside their own D50 for Freo, and they let so many uncontested marks go through their defensive 50 as well. So a really, really bad day for Freo. 70 points is, it was disgusting on paper, but wait until you watch the game or watch back over the game. It was even more uglier. So bad day for Freo. They would love to bounce back against the Bombers at home because they need to. It could probably end their finals chances if this loss. We could be looking back at the end of the year going, this loss to the Giants really killed their chances of playing finals, or it could be the one that kickstarted a big run from the Dockers and sees them surge into the finals at the back end of the year. All we can do is wait and see, but for now, they definitely have to be in the most disappointed. And the next team that goes in the most disappointed, only 2 teams going in this week due to the bye rounds. So a lot of teams didn't play, and because there was only 2 teams that disappointed me really this week, and Gold Coast will have to go in there. Although I did pick Carlton to win this game, I thought Gold Coast will put up a better fight. Both teams were sloppy after in the first quarter. Gold Coast had the edge, and that was probably an opportunity for them to probably kick a man down whilst they're hurt. And Gold Coast just really didn't take that opportunity. The second quarter, Carlton absolutely blew them away, and it was basically game over at halftime. And Gold Coast didn't really look that competitive in the second half, in my opinion. I think Carlton just steadily and slowly made it a 60-point win, but yeah, very bad from Gold Coast. And it begs the question, where is this club at? For numerous years, we see improvement, we see upside, and we get excited as neutrals because we want Gold Coast to achieve success. They're the only club in the league that has not played finals and a grand final, of course. So obviously everyone would be so happy to see Gold Coast finally break that, I guess you could say, that drought, which everyone has been waiting for them to do so for such a long time. So it is frustrating, I think, as a neutral, seeing Gold Coast, go up and down. Start of the year really well, and then the back end of the year, which is what we're going to get into now, they just start to fall away dramatically. But I think for Gold Coast fans, they'd be even more frustrated. They've promised improvement every single year, but it seems like we're getting the same thing over and over again for the last 3 or 4 years. Does it really put Stewie Jew's job in question, really? I think at the start of the year, I said that he would be gone by the end of the year. After watching the first half of the season, I really wanted to eat my words up and say, no, he will be here to stay. I think he's doing good things at the club. But a performance like that, they could be heading into the direction where he does lose his job. A big game against Hawthorn at home to round out the round 15 action, and they will really, really need to get that win and probably win convincingly. Hawthorn, though, are not a bad side, so they can't take them easily, but Gold Coast will be definitely desperate to win this week as they round out the most disappointed teams for this week. Now we're going to be looking at the round 14 AFL Power Rankings, and as you can see in the graphic, absolutely almost nothing has changed from the week prior. A lot of the top half of the competition has not moved at all. We have a bit of movement towards the bottom though. Gold Coast moved back down to 14th position, and the Giants move up due to their great win against Freo. Freo moved down as well, and the Tigers, due to their great win against the Saints, move all the way up into 10th. They crack into the top 10 for the first time in a while now, as they are starting to make a late finals push, it seems. Carlton's still in the bottom 4, but another good win after their bye, and potentially if Gold Coast lose to Hawthorn, could see the Blues finally get out of the bottom 4, but that is the power rankings for now. Now we're going to get stuck into the Star of the Week nominations for this week. And I will say, a little disclaimer, a lot of stiff competition, a lot of stiff people to miss out. We've got the likes of Bontempelli, Jake Riccardi, Dustin Martin, Tim Taranto again, Trent Cotchin, Sam Doherty, Patrick Cripps, all very stiff to miss out. And Sam Powell-Pepper as well, and Zach Bailey, all very stiff to miss out on a Star of the Week nomination this week. But these three, I think, really had a lot of fantastic performances over the weekend, so they couldn't be overlooked. And we're going to kickstart it off with Cody Weightman. He gets a Star of the Week nomination for this week. He was brilliant in his 50th game. He kicked 6 goals too, had only 13 disposals, but all of them were kicks. 7 marks and 11 score involvements. He's really starting to find his groove now and get into some good form for the Doggies, which they really need as they're trying to fight for a final spot. They're in that real big clump of teams all fighting for the back, probably the bottom half of the top 8. I do want to know though, let me know in the comments if you think Cody Weightman can be in the consideration and conversation for a top 5 small forward in the competition. I know you've got Charlie Cameron, Tom Papley, Cozzy Pickett. You've got all these great little small forwards. But does Cody Weightman get into the conversation of being top 5 potentially? Let me know in the comments if he gets in there. But for now, he's definitely a deserved nominee for Star of the Week. The next Star of the Week nomination goes to Adam Cerra, who was absolutely monumental in Carlton's win against Gold Coast on Sunday. He had 27 disposals, kicked 2 goals, 1, had 6 tackles, 9 score involvements, 17 contested possessions, and he had 6 inside 50s. He's been one of Carlton's best players by far in what has been such a tough season, even though it started pretty well. for the last 6 weeks. He's been one of their best players. With the form he's currently in and the performances we've seen from other Carlton players, would you agree that he's probably the favourite for Carlton's BNF at the moment? I think you look at some other players who could be up there. Charlie Curnow, I guess, for the season he's had, has been very good. I don't think you could really put Cripps up there. Saad has been pretty good, but Cerra's been very consistent as well. Is he the favourite now for Carlton's BNF? Let me know in the comments if you think so. Carlton fans especially, let me know. You watch that team way more passionately and more in-depth than I do. So let me know in the comments if you think Cerra is a favourite for Carlton's BNF at the moment. But what I do know for sure and for a fact is that he is a deserved winner of a Star of the Week nomination this week. And the final Star of the Week nomination for this week goes to a man who is finally getting back into the form that saw him get offered so much money to join North Melbourne and considered a Rolls Royce by a lot of AFL media expert. It is Josh Kelly for the GWS Giants. He was terrific in their enormous upset win over Freo. He had 33 disposals, kicked 3 goals straight, 548 metres gained, 9 score involvements, 5 intercept possessions for a midfielder, and 16 contested possessions. He was absolutely everywhere, Josh Kelly, and was phenomenal for the Giants. He's starting to build a really nice season as well. Quite underrated, in my opinion, the year from him, and that's why I pose the question, is he potentially an All-Australian Smoky? Would he get into that bench position? Would he be on the field? Let me know in the comments what you guys think, but he is a deserved Star of the Week nomination for sure. Now we're going to look at the week ahead for the AFL action. Round 15 action kicks off with Geelong taking on Melbourne in a big game down at GMHBA Stadium. St Kilda, they'll be hosting the Brisbane Lions in Spuds game. What a fantastic game that'll be, especially for a great cause. Sydney host West Coast in the early Saturday game. And then on Saturday night, Freo Essendon, a blockbuster over in Optus Stadium. Both teams, Essendon flying and Fremantle needing a win badly. On Sunday, I can't even say their name. Collingwood take on Adelaide in what looks to be the game of the round. Can't wait for that at the G. And then to round out the round, Gold Coast host Hawthorn up at Heritage Bank Stadium, Gold Coast home ground, in what is an important game for Gold Coast when it comes to their finals. Looking to bounce back after a bad performance against Carlton. They take on the Hawks, who are coming off a bye. Also coming up this week, on Friday, the NBA draft kicks off. Victor Wembanyama, heavy favourite to go pick 1 to the San Antonio Spurs. We will talk about it next week, all the fallout, and let me know in the comments who you think will go, not pick 1, because I think we all know, pick 2, pick 3, pick 4, pick 5, and which team you think will win the draft. And that's all we've got time for on this week's episode. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you feel like you want to. There is no pressure at all, of course, but also let me know in the comments all the things that I've mentioned in this video, including if Josh Kelly is an All-Australian Smoky, who's going to win the Ashes, who's going to win the next test, and who will win the NBA draft on Friday, even though it's not a competition. Let me know who you think, which team is going to come out best from that draft. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.